So the other day I shared a TikTok about how Trump was trying to distance himself from Project 2025, saying that he knew nothing about it and even that he disagreed with some of the stuff in it, which makes no sense because how can you disagree with something that you know nothing about? Now, for the majority of us who don't live in the MAGA reality, we of course know that he's lying. But it was funny reading some of the comments because there were many Republicans who came out of their little MAGA echo chambers to defend him because they actually believed him. And here's just a few of the greatest hits. "You're the one spreading lies, Trump 2024. To everyone saying something about Project 2025, educate yourself because Trump has said he does not support it and is not involved in it. Why lie to people? This is propaganda and lies. Trump has nothing to do with Project 25. Distance? When has he ever showed support of it? Ever. See, it's this. You guys take everything around the Republicans and blame Trump, even when he comes out and says he doesn't support it, like LMAO, Democrats are a cult. Sure. Why don't you show us where he ever endorsed or proposed Project 2025? It was proposed by the Heritage Foundation, not his administration. You realize it's the Heritage Foundation, not Trump, clown. He has Agenda 47, but hey, keep up the liberal fear-mongering. Now, those are some of my favorite comments to read because they're so entertaining. And it tells me that they have no idea what Project 2025 is, because if they actually read up on it, they would understand that the policies laid out in Project 2025 are Trump policies. And the reason that these are Trump policies is because a lot of the people who worked on Project 2025 were in Trump's administration. Project 2025 is Trumpism. And so if you're MAGA watching this and you don't believe me, I'll show you. So let's start with the Department of Education. Federal education policy should be limited, and ultimately the Federal Department of Education should be eliminated.
And I will shut down the Federal Department of Education, and we will move everything back to the states where it belongs and where they can individualize education and do it with the love for their children.
Yes, they want to eliminate the department that oversees our nation's education system, the department that funds our schools, the department that sets guidelines and standards for what students should be learning at different grade levels, the department that manages federal student loans, and the department that supports schools and teachers. Next up, attacking the accreditation cartel to protect students from the radical left.
When I return to the White House, I will fire the radical left accreditors that have allowed our colleges to become dominated by Marxist maniacs and lunatics.
They also want to grossly expand the power of the president using Article 2 to basically give him the right to do whatever he wants. And we saw what SCOTUS just ruled, that a president has immunity for official acts. Can you imagine what Trump would do with that power if he's reelected?
Also, take a look at one other thing. It's a thing called Article 2. Nobody ever mentions Article 2. It gives me all of these rights at a level that nobody has ever seen before. We don't even talk about Article 2.
Reversing policies that allow transgender individuals to serve in the military. Remember, that was a Trump policy that Biden reversed when he took office.
This thing has exploded like it's okay and normal to start cutting up a 13 or a 14-year-old and use 140 different genders and 200 different pronouns. This is nonsense. They're going after our kids. Don't you think, Mr. President?
It's true. And I ended that, as you know, I ended it largely in the country, but I ended it for our military. It was over. You couldn't do it.
Protecting life and implementing a national abortion ban. Remember, for Republicans, abortion is not health care.
Getting rid of Roe v. Wade was an incredible thing for pro-life because it gave pro-life something to negotiate with. Pro-life had absolutely nothing being stuck in Roe v. Wade to negotiate with.
So remember, as Trump lies about Project 2025, claiming he knows nothing about it, Project 2025 is Trumpism. But hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Here's the president of the Heritage Foundation saying the same thing.
Is it tied to Trump or not? I said the context for that comment to the New York Times was that the work of the Heritage Foundation was to institutionalize Trumpism. Trumpism as a new version of conservatism, a conservatism that recognizes that by every objective measure, the United States is weaker in 2024 than it was in 1984. We also happen to think that's reversible, by the way. We're ultimately optimists. And by institutionalizing Trumpism, what we're saying is that even though we are known as Ronald Reagan's think tank, I'm a son of the Reagan Revolution, I'm very proud of that, that's 40 years ago. And we need to understand what time it is in America. And right now, Donald Trump, whether someone likes it or not, I happen to like it, is the standard bearer for conservatism.